Universal Studios makes you the star of your favorite movies, like in the spectacular new Men in Black Alien Attack Ride. Only you determine the outcome as you join the Men in Black and save the Earth from aliens.
In 2000, Universal Studios Florida introduced a one-of-a-kind interactive dark ride that combined cutting-edge technology, a beloved blockbuster franchise, and classic theme park humour. Men in Black Alien Attack. And since then, millions of guests have tested their alien zapping skills inside Universal's secret MIB training facility, competing for the highest score in an intergalactic showdown. But the journey to bringing this ride to life was anything but simple. From its roots in a scrapped Ghostbusters attraction to its revolutionary ride system, today we're diving deep into the history of Men in Black Alien Attack.
If you haven't experienced the all-new Men in Black Alien Attack Ride at Universal Studios, you haven't experienced Orlando.
The story of Men in Black Alien Attack begins long before the ride opened. In the early 90s, Universal Studios Florida was growing rapidly, with attractions based on blockbuster films like E.T., Jaws and Back to the Future. But one of its most unique offerings was Ghostbusters Spooktacular, a live stage show based on the 1984 film. For years, Universal considered expanding Ghostbusters into a full-fledged dark ride. Plans called for a trackless ride system where guests would bus ghosts with proton packs in a city under siege. However, when Sony acquired the Ghostbusters film rights in the mid-90s, Universal lost access to the franchise, forcing them to scrap the project entirely. And at the same time, a new blockbuster was making waves, Men in Black. Released in 1997, the Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones sci-fi comedy was a massive hit, grossing over $589 million worldwide. I actually remember going to the cinema to see this with my dad and my brother in '97 and loving it. Universal saw its potential and decided to transform their abandoned Ghostbusters ride concept into something new, an interactive alien blasting adventure based on Men in Black. And Universal's goal with Men in Black Alien Attack wasn't just to create another interactive dark ride, it was to build a fully immersive world that felt like an extension of the Men in Black films. To do this, Universal Creative partnered directly with Amblin Entertainment and Men in Black director Barry Sonnenfeld. Sonnenfeld's influence was critical in ensuring that the humour, visual aesthetic and overall tone of the ride matched what audiences loved about the films. He even made sure that the attraction included the same absurd bureaucratic humour, like alien immigration paperwork and hidden extraterrestrials living among humans, that made Men in Black so iconic. Universal took a different approach to designing Men in Black Alien Attack than they had with previous movie-based attractions. So rather than directly retelling the story of the films, the ride would exist as a real-world extension of the MIB universe, almost as if it had always been there, just hidden in plain sight. The first step in achieving this was the ride's exterior. Instead of a flashy, sci-fi inspired building, Universal designed a facade that would look like a mundane government research facility, complete with dull, sterile architecture and a simple World Expo sign, subtly referencing the 1964 New York World's Fair. But of course this was all a cover, and once inside, guests would find themselves deep inside the hidden world of the MIB, recruited as new trainees for the agency. The queue was one of the most detailed and immersive Universal had ever built at the time. Every inch was designed to make guests feel like they'd stepped into the real MIB headquarters. And highlights included the Worm Lounge, so it was a waiting area where guests passed by glass windows, revealing the coffee-drinking, cigar-smoking worm aliens from the films, animated using state-of-the-art animatronics. There was an immigration room, a nearly identical recreation of the iconic scene from the first movie where new aliens arrive on Earth. So the animatronic aliens here are incredibly lifelike, with blinking eyes, moving mouths and subtle mannerisms that would make them feel like living, breathing creatures. And then there's Agent Zed's office, a pre-show room where guests receive their mission briefing. The attention to detail here was extraordinary, with desks filled with alien files, monitors displaying MIB intelligence data, and even subtle Easter eggs referencing other extraterrestrial activity around the world. Universal Creative even brought in Academy Award-winning Men in Black makeup artist Rick Baker to design the ride's alien animatronics. Baker, who'd worked on the original film, personally oversaw the creation of several new creatures exclusively for the attraction, ensuring they fit seamlessly into the MIB universe. By the time guests boarded their ride vehicles, they weren't just park visitors anymore, they were official MIB recruits, ready to prove themselves in battle. So as we've discussed, Men in Black Alien Attack wasn't just another shooter ride, it was an entirely new kind of interactive experience. Universal Creative wanted to break away from traditional slow-moving dark rides and create something with dynamic movement, unpredictable elements, and real competition among riders. To accomplish this, they engineered a ride system unlike anything seen before. So unlike previous interactive rides like Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin, which used simple turntables and joystick-controlled aiming, Men in Black introduced a completely new ride system, a 6-person spinning motion base mounted on a track that allowed for fast, sudden rotations. And each vehicle was built with several key features. It had a multi-directional spinning system, which allowed the vehicle to rotate 360 degrees in response to in-game events. For example, if an alien hit the car with a projectile, the entire vehicle would shake and spin as if it were out of control. There was a synchronized targeting system where each blaster was tracked individually, allowing the ride to adjust animations based on where the guests were aiming, and a branching path mechanic where certain vehicles would take slightly different routes based on performance, creating an incentive to keep playing and improving. The track itself was also incredibly sophisticated, with sections that allowed for small variances in movement, giving the ride a slightly unpredictable feel every time. And Universal wanted every single ride-through to feel unique, which meant developing an advanced real-time scoring system that changed the ride's difficulty based on player performance. So here's how it worked. Over 125 animatronic aliens were scattered throughout the ride, each with hidden sensors that registered when they were shot. Some had multiple hit zones, meaning they reacted differently depending on where they were struck. There were interactive set pieces that allowed guests to trigger different effects, such as knocking an alien off a ledge or causing an explosion in a nearby building. And there was dynamic AI scaling, which meant that as players improved, the aliens would become harder to hit. Some would duck behind objects, others would move faster, and certain high-value targets would only appear for the best shooters. This wasn't just a ride, it was a competitive game. Players weren't just aiming for a high score, they were also trying to beat the people in their vehicle, leading to some fierce in-car rivalries. And then, of course, there was the moment that every player waited for, the red button. As the ride neared its climax, guests were given a brief, crucial instruction: when you see the red button, press it. But what made this moment so brilliant was its design. The button only appeared for a split second, requiring quick reflexes to hit it. Pressing it at the right time delivered the final blow to the giant alien, instantly giving that player a massive point bonus. If multiple people in the same car pressed the button, only the fastest player got the reward, adding another layer of competition. This simple mechanic became one of the most talked about features of the entire ride and remains a fan favourite moment to this day. With an immersive queue, groundbreaking ride system, and one of the most advanced interactive gameplay experience ever attempted, Men in Black Alien Attack was shaping up to be a game changer for theme park attractions. But would all this ambitious technology actually work? Would guests embrace the interactive competition, or would the ride struggle to meet expectations? The answer was about to be revealed when Men in Black Alien Attack finally opened its doors to the public.
Alright, MIB wannabes, check this out. We got us a situation of monstrous proportions. The biggest, nastiest bug I've ever seen has just landed.
So the ride officially opened on April 14th, 2000, bringing guests into the world of MIB like never before. And the experience begins in the MIB headquarters, where guests are recruited for what they think is a routine universe tour. But things quickly take a turn when an emergency briefing from Agent Z reveals the real mission. An alien invasion has broken out in New York City, and it's up to the trainees to neutralize the threat. Once inside their ride vehicles, guests are launched into a full-scale alien battle. As they move through the streets of New York, they encounter a wide range of extraterrestrial creatures, each with unique reactions when shot. Some aliens duck for cover, others get knocked off buildings, some even retaliate by spitting goo at guests. And the ride culminates in that epic showdown when that massive alien creature towers over the city, attempting to destroy the headquarters. And this is where that infamous red button comes into play, determining whether the guests successfully save the day or get neuralized for failing their mission. From day one, Men in Black Alien Attack was praised for its ambitious design, its highly detailed animatronic-driven sets, and its unique competitive gameplay. But what truly set it apart was its ability to balance thrilling action with the humour and charm of the Men in Black films. And over 2 decades later, Men in Black Alien Attack remains one of Universal's most beloved attractions. But what makes it so special? And how has it stood the test of time in an era dominated by digital screens and ever-changing theme park trends? One of the biggest reasons Men in Black Alien Attack remains so iconic is its commitment to practical effects. At a time when many modern attractions rely heavily on digital projections, Men in Black is a rare example of a ride that still prioritises physical sets and animatronics. So as I said before, there are over 125 fully sculpted and animated alien figures, and the attraction feels alive in a way that screen-based rides often struggle to replicate. The craftsmanship of these animatronics is also notable. It's designed in collaboration with Rick Baker, as we said before, and they showcase a level of detail and personality that helps the ride maintain its charm even decades later. And that all makes the experience feel interactive on a level beyond just shooting targets. This commitment to physical effects also makes Men in Black Alien Attack one of the few shooter rides where the entire world around you feels real. Unlike attractions where guests mainly interact with screens, everything in Men in Black is tangible, from the glowing neon storefronts of the city streets to the massive alien bug at the finale. And that's a big part of why the ride still holds up. The ride was a pioneer in interactive theme park rides. Before its debut, most shooter rides were simple rail-based attractions with basic laser targets. But Men in Black took interactivity to the next level with these reactive environments and unpredictable ride vehicles. The ride actively rewards skill and competition, making each playthrough unique. And you can see its influence in many attractions that followed, like Toy Story Midway Mania. It's a screen-based shooter ride that took Men in Black's scoring system to the next level, but still lacks those physical sets and practical effects. You got Smuggler's Run at Hollywood Studios, a ride where guest performance impacts the experience, similar to how Men in Black tracks shooting accuracy. And you got Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure, another interactive shooter with a high emphasis on scoring, but uses motion tracking instead of handheld blasters. And despite these newer innovations, Men in Black Alien Attack still remains one of the most engaging and rewarding interactive rides ever built. Unlike rides where success is almost guaranteed, Men in Black makes you earn your high score, and that sense of accomplishment keeps guests coming back. So tell me in the comments, do you think Men in Black Alien Attack is still one of Universal's best rides? Do you remember the first time you rode it? I do. I remember riding it probably the year it opened and being blown away by this ride that actually gives me the opportunity to shoot at things. It was great, and I still love it today. Also, please pop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. It's incredibly helpful to me and getting this video seen out in the algorithm. Also, consider subscribing to the channel as well for more of these theme park nostalgia videos. So many rides still to get to, and I've only just started really enjoying this new channel. And the small community that we've got here is incredibly welcoming, so please come and join us. But regardless, if videos on the history of rides interest you, why don't you check out this video next. So thanks recruits, that's a wrap on today's mission. Remember, if anyone asks, this video never happened.
Sorry.